and welcome to Universal Journeys Radio with your host, Dr. Brenda L and Donny Winter. Follow your heart, for only you know which path is right for you. Universal Journeys Radio is about how spirituality intersects with nearly every other aspect of our lives, even when we do not see it or realize it. Creativity and expression are our connections to the spiritual energy many seek to understand, and our identity is forged through this process. Universal Journey seeks to help illuminate the different intersections between creativity, spirituality, and identity in order to empower and enlighten. Tonight is Anything Goes. I can't wait. So for our call-in number, it is 347-850-8292. That is 347-850-8292. Welcome, Donny.
Hello, Brenda dear. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I am peachy with a side of keen.
Oh. So this is Anything Goes. Do we ever have a topic to start over with, or we just want to jump right into the calls?
Let's jump right into the calls since we have quite a few of them this evening.
All right. Here we go. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I have a question. I recently graduated from school, and I've begun looking for work, and I want to know what you see with regards to that.
What's your first name, by the way?
My name is Rose.
Oh, Rose. Are you getting anything, Donny?
I am still working on it. Are you getting anything, Brenda dear?
I am. I would say what they're showing me is about 2 months. Unfortunately, that's a little bit out there, but not too far. About 2 months, you should be getting a knock on the door, and it's kind of funny that I say knock on the door. Normally, I don't say that. But it feels like you're going to get a knock on the door, and it's going to come out of the blue. It may not even be anything that you applied for, but it's going to be right up your alley.
Okay.
So be prepared. Put the positive thoughts out there because they are bringing things to you. Go ahead.
I have been temping, so I'm wondering, on and off, I'm wondering if this is a temp job that's coming or a permanent job.
It very well could be a temp job because, this, like I said, this is like out of the blue type of thing that I see. And through temp jobs, that could very well happen. I'm glad you're actually doing something while you're waiting for a job or a full-time position to come in.
Oh, yeah, and even temp jobs are hard to find for what I do anyway. It's just crazy out there, but
this job that'll be falling into your lap, basically, I feel is going to be referred to you by someone that you know. Like, it's going to be closer than you think, and I have a feeling that it is going to be a temp job, but it's going to lead to something bigger.
Well, at permanent, though, that's my concern. I want a job with benefits and, everything, but I'll take a temp job.
One does. I mean, this one definitely does.
All
even
right.
though this upcoming one may not be one with benefits, always keep your perspective and be like, okay, this is just one step on the mountain. This is my next goal is going to be much bigger than this, and it's going to be happening right after this job fairly quickly for you, I feel, because you're going to make connections with people and you're going to learn a lot more about yourself in the process.
Wonderful. So I should just enjoy the summer and wait 2 months before I start working.
Yes, I would say so.
Definitely keep doing the temporary position there.
Definitely.
I mean,
continue
to do that and definitely enjoy it.
All right. Thank you both so much.
And it feels like you're welcome. Let me finish. You feel like it's going to be something that you're going to like. I mean, it's more so than what you may think. So definitely keep an open mind with that and just keep going forward. And you're going to do great.
Maybe it's the temp agency's going to say, hey, I have this job. You know, it's not what you're used to. But, you know, maybe that's because they do know me very well, since you said that it's from someone who knows me. Well, she sure does. So I'm going to stay positive.
Good.
So, good. Do you have anything else for us?
Well, do you see an improvement in my finances since I'm going to be working?
Yes, very much so.
I do as well.
I would say by this time next year, you'll be able to take a mini vacation.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep. And I know there's a lot of things that are going on and things that you have to catch up on and stuff like that, but it does feel like you'll be able to take a mini vacation this time next year.
Wonderful.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, on to the next caller. That's pretty cool.
That was.
Yeah. So here we go. There we go. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hi. Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay. Great. I wasn't sure because you didn't say an area code type. Anyway, let me jump in there. And remember, you said anything goes.
Anything goes.
Okay, I hope this question isn't too odd. I've been having some pains in my shins. They're called shin splints. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. It's an overuse. It's an overuse injury, and I ignored it at first and just walked through the pain, blah blah. And then it got worse, and I finally decided I have to take this seriously. So I've been really trying to work on this for a couple of weeks, and they still haven't resolved. Okay, so that's the background. Let me give you my questions. One, is there a metaphysical thing behind this? You know how people think that some injuries are manifestations of something going on internally? And some people are saying no. So I want to ask you, is there a metaphysical basis for this? And secondly, I want to ask, is there something physically I can do to resolve this? What can I do to resolve this issue? Either whether we're talking on a metaphysical or a medical basis.
Okay.
Very good question.
Donnie, if it's okay, I will definitely start this out.
Go right ahead.
Okay. When you first started to say, even before you said anything about the metaphysical field and in that particular energy, I got yes. My question to you would be do you feel like you're bumping your shins up against a life situation and you can't go forward? You keep bumping it and it hurts, and you back up and you keep trying to go bump it again and it hurts? Like, could be any type of situation, any type of relationship, anything like that that's going on that you haven't really got to break through with that. Is there anything going on in your life like that?
Yeah, if there's a career, I'd like to make a career change, and I'd also like to make a move. But it's like they haven't come together yet. Part of it is that because I haven't formulated in my head exactly what I want. And part of it, I also know there's also a question of divine timing with this. So there is that I'd like to move forward, and I understand that why I'm not moving forward, but there's a bit of a back and forth there.
Right. However, it feels like some of this stuff the divine stuff has happened for you to be able to do that, but you did not recognize it, or you did not want to recognize it because you thought it was too soon, and it's not.
Oh. That's interesting.
Because that's what I'm getting, and because if it wasn't divine time yet, you wouldn't be getting the sore shins or anything like that. Because that's not how it works.
It's very interesting that you mention that, Brenda, because when there's significant changes that happen in my life, I sometimes get headaches before it happens. And I think the important thing is that we need to listen to our bodies, because our bodies will tell us when the time is right for specific things. And what was your name, ma'am, again?
It's Ellen.
Okay. I have a distinct feeling that you are a very, very intuitive person, but you don't always listen to your intuition, because sometimes things may seem, too good to be true, or sometimes things seem so out of the blue that it's like, okay, why? Like, that means nothing, And I think in this situation that your body is telling you when the time is right for something for you.
It's actually telling you that this is the time. Don't hold off anymore.
Mhm.
You're ready. Don't think you're ready. Not ready, because you are ready.
So will the pains resolve when I just
when you give up,
forward?
when you give in? Yes, exactly right.
Mhm.
It's almost like you're creating your own stoppage and your own pain. I mean, and I've done that.
Well, when we ignore our intuition, it amplifies that pain more so. And I think once you do stop hesitating, then it will definitely let off and it'll fade away gradually.
Because it is right. The timing is right now. It feels like you have everything set into place, but there's a fear factor there that's holding you back from going forward.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things is that several months ago I had it in my head that I was going to move to this other city. And then I said, a bit of part of me was saying, I don't think this is a good idea. And a friend of mine was also telling me, I don't think you'd be happy there. Then giving me the reasons and so forth. And I kind of backed off. And so I've been looking at something else. So, I mean, what is, should I have done the move? I'm ready for a move, but, I'm not at all inclined to go to that same city now that I had in mind earlier. I just, how about I throw this out? Was I supposed to make a move? Am I still supposed to make a move? Where am I supposed to move to?
Okay, number one is no, that move was not supposed to take place, okay? But it was to make sure that you wanted to do what you wanted to do, and you changed your mind, which is fine. And are you supposed to move? Yes, when the time is right. And it is getting to be very, very right. I mean, very ripe. It's like it's ripe, and not only just ripe, but it's ripe, which is weird.
And the thing is, I feel like this move is going to be very far either. So if you're worried about distance, I wouldn't worry too much about that, because I'm really getting the feeling that it's closer than you think, like this place you're supposed to go.
A local move, not that it's a city in the same state. We're talking about a local move?
It could either be a local move. It could either be a local move within the same city, or it could be, one city over, or maybe a neighboring town, perhaps. I'm not feeling like cross country kind of move. It's going to be like a regional move.
Yeah, that is where I'm looking right now. Yeah, that is it. Yeah.
Yep. I agree with that.
So, do you mind if I ask? Okay, one of the other things I was trying to move forward on is a job change. Where does that figure in all this?
Well, it kind of coincides with the other thing that you're talking about, with the other move. Now, are you hesitating? It says like there's a hesitation on, do I really want to move, or not move, but do I really want to go ahead and do a job change, or do I want to stay with what I have? So there's a lot of things going around with that as well. My shins right now are hurting or have that sensation where that actually clicks more than your physical moving does. Because they're like, boom, I'm banging my shins, like, holy cow. It's like you really Yes, do it. Do a move change. Not move change. Do a career move too. It's one and the same almost.
Yeah, it sounds like this move is going to be all-inclusive, not just one aspect of your life. It's going to create a lot of different change. And I sincerely believe that you're going to be much happier, too. Definitely.
Yeah. And actually, I have a friend of mine has been helping me kind of formulate what the new plan is.
Good.
It'll be changed within the same city, but the whole point is to get a better paying job. So I do live in a different part of the city and can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Right.
And you're gonna do great. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen like just as soon as just as quickly as you change your mind and say, okay, it's gonna happen. It is going to happen that quick.
And I get a very, very good feeling about this friend that's helping you too. So
yes,
definitely don't be afraid to go over ideas with this individual. Don't hold back, because this person has definitely got your back. Okay?
Yeah, she's a nice person. She's a very nice person.
Good. Good.
Well, I want to say thank you so much, ladies, for entertaining this odd question.
You are most welcome.
You definitely most welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Have a great day. Okay, on to the next caller.
Well, Brenda, my lady energy is on the rise tonight.
You betcha. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, ladies. My name is Samantha, and I would really love to know what you see coming around me as far as career and job. I'm already working in a sales position at a store, and I'm not happy there, and I'm not sure how much longer I will have that position, so I've been applying and calling different jobs and interviewing, and I would love to know if you'd be getting a good position soon.
Very good. I do see good things for you coming in. There's no doubt about that one there. But I'm trying to what I'm getting, and I'm trying to make sure that it's not from the last caller that called that I'm going to be telling you this. But it feels like you're going to be falling into another position. Literally, it's like it's going to be like given to you almost on a silver platter, or you're going to fall into the lap of something, and then you're going to go. It's going to be right at that 11th hour, though. You know, the 11th hour from you deciding that you want to leave this position, or they're going to decide, okay, we're going to get rid of this position or something like that. But it doesn't feel like you're going into that next level in that height. I have a question for you because my voice just changed. Do you have someone on the other side who wants to talk to you that would have like a deeper voice?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, because when it felt for me like more of a masculine energy. Of course, you could have some women who have masculine, voices too, but it felt like a masculine energy in more like a fatherly figure, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a father per se, but a fatherly figure who would say, I have your back, don't worry about this, love, and you're going to go forward, and I'm going to help you go forward. Is that something or someone there that would do that for you?
Yes, I believe so. I think I know who you're speaking of.
Okay, because his energy is very, for me, what I'm feeling now is very loving, and he's like this. I wish you guys could see me because it's like this masculine type of energy, broad shoulders, big arms, like I got this, girl, type of thing. I don't know if that resonates or not.
No, I really do. I think it would probably be either my grandfather or a boyfriend that I love dearly that passed over.
Yep, absolutely. So they have your back too. They just kind of come in to let you know that, hey, I'm here for you and I'm going to help you do this. So, some of the worries and everything else that you have in your mind, give it up to us and we'll help you. Just ask. We're here. Mm-hmm. That's why we're here. I got goosebumps, confirmation bumps. That's what I call those. I don't know, Donnie, what you getting?
I completely agree with you. I basically think you hit it on the head, Brenda. I also wanted to add that there's going to be certain signs from the other side that may be difficult to recognize. So definitely be sure that you keep yourself very alert to those type of things, okay? Because there's going to be signs basically telling you, okay, you're on the right track, you're doing the right thing, you're making the right choices.
One thing I have to add to that, too, is even when you get a little bit of a feeling that someone is helping you from the other side, either your grandfather or your boyfriend who passed away, the love of your life, let me put it that way, the love of your life, that's even better yet. Don't poo-poo that, okay? Because they are really trying to try to get your attention. Because that's one thing that I've learned because the love of my life has passed. And he does that. If all of a sudden he'll pop into my brain or his name will pop in my brain, that's letting me know that he's there and he's trying to help in that situation. So, yeah.
Definitely.
And I know you've gotten those. I feel you've received those before from them.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So keep doing it, but just keep going. I mean, they're there for you. They're helping you out. There are many other ones over there too. Is Grandma also on the other side?
Yes, she is.
Yep. She's there too. She's there too. She just wanted to be acknowledged. She's there too.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're well loved. You're most welcome.
Yes, thank you again, and have a wonderful evening, ladies.
You too, Vanessa. Thank you, dear.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so let's see. Next one. Who we got here? Here we go. Hello. Caller, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
I'm kind of new to my advice, and I'm kind of lost.
Okay.
I'm married, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if my husband is cheating or whatever.
Is doing what?
I said I don't know if my husband is cheating or having an affair with me because his behavior is different and is acting unusual.
Well, it's funny. The reason I ask what is because I actually thought you said shooting, as in shooting up with drugs and stuff like that.
No.
Because that's a behavioral change, too.
Mm-mm.
No, I mean, he's, never home as much, and he texts in, once in a while, but he's always out and never home much. And just wonder if there's another woman involved.
What is his first name?
Michael.
Michael,
okay.
Well, I can tell you one thing, he has a great smile.
Yes, he does.
He turned around at me. He turned around and he had this great big old smile on his face, like, oh yeah, there you go.
When I think of this person, I see a kid. Okay. And I feel like he's a very insecure person, but he does not express that he is insecure. And I get the feeling that he is out searching for a way to drown out that insecurity. I don't know how or what method he's using for it, but he's looking for something to do away with that.
Okay. All right.
At least that's what I'm getting. I don't know, Brenda, what are you getting?
Well, I was just getting Mr. Casanova. That's what I was getting.
Oh, wow.
Because he's a cutie, too.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Oh. Now, I don't know if he works or not, okay, but it does feel like he's doing a little extra working for some reason. A little extra.
Yeah,
and I get extracurricular activities.
Well, he says he picks up some side jobs and stuff like that now and then.
Okay. Do you notice if he has any more money in his pocket, doing anything else more?
I don't know. Like, I know he brings home money and stuff like that, but he says he's got it from, like, doing side jobs.
I feel more that he's doing the side jobs, even though, you know, what he's doing may not be so kosher, but he definitely is, he's making more money. He's got to be careful. See,
I think where the insecurity is coming in that I felt, I think that the fact that he's doing these side jobs makes him insecure because he wants to be doing something more, you know, solidified, something more secure than that. And I feel like he's convinced himself that he can't do that, but he needs to work through that and realize that he can.
Okay. So do you guys see him getting a job? Do you guys see him getting a job soon?
If he stays out of trouble, he'll be able to get a job.
Right.
Because that's my big thing right there, that what I'm feeling is he needs to stay out of trouble. Even though he has these side jobs, they still may not be on the up and up. So I would he's got to be careful. I don't think he doesn't, it's not that he doesn't love you as much as that these side jobs are turning him into something different. And he needs to be a little bit careful of losing himself within those positions or those side jobs.
I'm feeling that too.
Okay.
The insecurity that I think the insecurity that I think Donny is feeling is not necessarily insecurity but doubt of, ooh, should I really be doing this? I don't know if it's really right but I got to do this because of this group or that group or, you know, or who he's working with for the side jobs.
To be careful with is that doubt can turn into insecurity eventually. Like prolonged doubt can transform into that.
Yeah.
Does the side job have to do with infidelity? I'm just wondering because I don't really know about the side jobs. I know it's like something he said he's going to do with labor ready and stuff like that.
I don't think it has to do with infidelity, no.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
No.
Because I don't really know.
He's got a good personality, yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's got the charming, like you said, the personality, yeah.
Right. You know, and he's got a great personality. I just hope that some of these side jobs that he's doing doesn't take that away. And it very well could. He could get lost in this.
Right.
But
well, I hope I hope it's not illegal. It won't get him in trouble or land him in jail.
He needs to be watching his back. He needs to be careful. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're getting. That's what we're feeling. That he just needs to be extra cautious.
Yep.
Okay. So. All right. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Have
a great day.
Right, you're welcome.
Bye.
Okay.
Brenda, I think the other person that's on is John. So he said that he's
that's what I thought.
For a bit, so.
Okay, perfect. So with that said, we are going to take a little bit of break, and we will be right back. And And welcome back to Universal Journeys with your host, Dr. Brenda L. Bates and Donny Winter. I truly do love that gentleman, and stuff like that. It's like get me in the mood of dancing. Nothing else, though. And our call-in number is 347-850-8292. If you have some questions for us, please feel free to give us a call because we are here to answer anything. And I'm giving it over to Donny. Here you go, Donny.
Hello. Okay, so if you enjoy listening to our show, you're more than welcome to search us out on various social media platforms. If you go to Facebook.com and type in Universal Journeys, you'll be able to find our Facebook page. We post a lot of information about our show, and we post a bunch of other uplifting, spiritual little nuggets. And if you're not on Facebook and you just want to find the page itself, Facebook.com/UniversalJourneys111. It's another way to find it. Also, we are working on getting Universal Journeys onto YouTube. So if you go to YouTube.com and type in Universal Journeys, you should be able to find our YouTube page. Basically, we wanted to use YouTube because it also gives us another platform to have our discussions on. So feel free to go visit either of those. Yay! Back to Brenda.
Ask questions. You're welcome. Thank you. Definitely ask questions. I mean, that's the amazing thing with all these Facebooks and stuff like that. Ask questions. You got a question? Ask it. We'll be more than happy to answer it. So we're just kind of like randomly posting stuff out there, but ask questions. Get in the conversation. You'd be surprised at how many other people will be able to give you information, too. So,
right. And don't feel intimidated about being on the air, either, because a lot of the time other people can benefit from your questions.
Yep, you betcha. So, Donny, you wanted to mention something about our theme tonight as we were going through. So, please start us off with that, if you would, please.
Okay. So, our callers have one thing in common, and this, I've noticed this since we first started doing this show, that most of them have an intuition, and a very keen intuition, but they never, ever, ever, ever listen to it. They acknowledge that they feel something about a various event or individual, but they completely ignore it. And I can honestly understand how that feels because I've been that way in the past too, but I thought that it would be interesting for us to have a discussion as to how we can encourage people to listen to their own intuition, because a lot of the time their intuition can answer their questions for them. And not only that, but it'll also help them develop a sense of confidence within themselves in order to figure out, various difficulties in their lives, right? Mm-hmm. What do you think, Brenda?
Yeah. Absolutely. The other thing is, most people, they just need confirmation. And I know when I first started doing stuff like this, I was always looking for confirmation as well. And there are still times when I have to look for confirmation. Mm-hmm. It's just the nature of the beast. But if you learn to follow your intuition, things are going to come into your area or your scope, I should say, a lot quicker, a lot easier, and you'll be able to recognize it. But you have to let go of the doubt and just go with the flow. I have to tell myself that all the time. It's like, come on, come on, Brenda, just keep going. Just keep going. And sometimes, Donny and I were talking about this a little bit on break, is you can normally tell when you've either not done what you needed to do fully or you've gone off track a little bit, especially if you're intuitive, really intuitive and sensitive, is sometimes like the first or second lady that had the issues with the shins. That's telling her one of two things: either got to go the other way, or break through it. And so when that happens to me, things start to go a little haywire. They got to get a little crazy, and it's like, I got to get back on track and to bring myself back around. And once I do, then it's fine. I mean, I've had to do that, I would say, more so than not since the end of May. So it's like, okay, got to come back around, and then once you come back around, everything seems to continue to go forward in a smoother way.
Exactly.
And they fall into place.
And a very interesting thing also about intuition is, like, one thing that I have suffered from a lot over the past few years is falling into various bouts of being depressed or being really, really hard on myself. And now that I've grown and honed my intuition more, I can use my intuition to my advantage and analyze those insecurities before they get me down too far. So whenever I feel upset about something, with my intuition, I immediately have a conversation. I'm like, okay, why am I feeling upset about this? Why do I not feel 100% about this? And from there on out, I start to analyze the situation, and I come up with a solution. I know not everyone can do that. Not everyone is as analytical. But that's how I've managed to hone my intuition over the years. Also, like, for example, I went on a date a couple of years ago with someone, and immediately I got the feeling that I got this very ominous feeling, like something was not right. But, I decided to ignore my intuition. I was like, all right, I don't care what you're trying to say, intuition, I'm going to do it anyway. And I did it. And I ended up basically careening out of control over the course of a few months. And then at the end of that, I realized, I was like, holy crap, my intuition told me this before this happened, and it happened. I need to use this as a learning experience.
True. That's the same way as me. Same.
It's very interesting how things like that happen. And I'm sure that I'm sure that most people have experienced this to some degree or another. Also, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, intuition's just magical talk and all of that jazz." Honestly, intuition to me is a culmination of the different things that we've learned built up inside of us, and we have discussions with that culmination of learned experience, and that's how our intuition develops. And from there, it can develop further into different, various abilities, for example, like extrasensory abilities. I mean, we only use 10% of our brains. What's the other 90% of our brain doing, We got to tap into that. It's possible to tap into that with practice.
True. And that's what it takes, is practice. It takes diligence. Because the more you do it, the more it's going to start to really work for you. And I think for me, I got a little off track, and now I'm back. I slayed that dragon yesterday. I'm back.
Good. I am glad you slayed that dragon.
Yeah.
And yesterday was a very interesting day because I felt like I had to slay a dragon of my own.
Really?
I totally understand that.
That's, it's kind of funny because you and I, we kind of do the similar things together. We're Nathaniel, my friend Nathaniel, or our friend Nathaniel. We're the opposite. He's got, he's down and I'm up, and I'm up and he's down. I mean, it's just kind of crazy how that works. And the funny thing is, we're all earth signs. All three of us are earth signs.
Right. I kind of think of it as planetary orbits in a way. Each planet is orbiting the sun at different points, right? And sometimes two planets near each other will orbit the, circle around the sun in close proximity at almost the same speed and time. So I kind of think that's what it is with us, too, because, there are situations where you and I do experience things at different times, but the amount of times that we do experience similar things is definitely something to observe because it happens so frequently, even when we are at a distance.
Yep. And that's just being in tune with one another. That's a part of that, too. And going down the same vein as this is I've noticed recently that I've had to adjust the energy that I've been receiving from other people. And it seems like it's at a higher level now, so I have to adjust my energy so I'm not taking on so much of the other people's. I did that before, but it's a higher energy now. You know, it's our higher consciousness, you could say. And I've had to be able to balance that. And that's caused me a little bit of an issue right up front when I didn't know what it was. And that's another thing as well, is just because you've learned something, you're not going to stay there, because we're all about evolving. And things that we once knew and once was able to do changes. It's a constant change. It will continually change to another thing.
Exactly.
You know, you're evolving, so you got to go to the next level. And that first when you first get into something, into that change, is like, holy cow, you know, I can't do it the way I used to do it. Now I got to do it a little bit differently. And that's quite a challenge to do something like that at times. So
definitely.
So don't think it's going to stay the same, because it's always changing. Even no matter where you're at in your journey, it will always change. One thing you're like, I'll know this for sure. This is what I'm going to be able to do. This is how I'm going to be able to do it. But you know something? A year down the road, less or more, it's going to change. You're like, oh man, I thought that this was the all end all, and dang, I'm learning something new again. I'm getting it different. But if you don't do something like that, it means you're stuck, and you need to figure out why you're stuck.
Exactly.
So, and I see we have another caller in the room.
We
do. Want to go ahead and take that call? Okay,
yes,
here we go.
Do.
Okay. And we're waiting for... Hello, caller.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good, thank you. What can we do for you?
Okay. Not yesterday, but I want to say Friday evening, early Saturday morning, went on a date, and now my credit cards are missing. Can you tell me if the person I went on the date with is linked to that?
The first thing that want to pop in my head is yes.
Okay. Now the second thing is, he was always in my sight, in arm's reach.
He is?
Yeah, but my purse was in my car.
Yeah. Not good. But
I'm not.
Are they totally missing? Like missing?
Yeah, like they were used at Macy's, like that couple, like yesterday.
But do you have them in your possession, or are they done?
No,
they're
gone, and they're used. I'm not sure if he had another person working with him. I don't know.
It feels like he's tied to it somehow.
Okay.
Because that would be the best game going, is if you preoccupy someone and your person's in the vehicle and he knows it's there, then his other buddy can, come over there and say, oh, okay, and the signals back and forth. Did he ever play with his phone when you were with him?
Right before I was about to leave.
There you go.
Do you think it was him and another man, or another woman?
No, I think it was another guy.
Okay.
Has he called you since?
He tried to get me to hang out with him the day that I found out. So, and I declined. I wonder if they ever will get caught.
They will. Sooner than later, actually.
Really?
I agree.
I hope so. I hope I'm there to see it.
I'm thinking you're going to be. I definitely think you're going to be. The other thing, too, is you canceled all. I hope you canceled everything.
Oh, of course. I was panicking. I canceled everything in a matter of 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Every card I own, even my bank card. Even though they left certain cards in it. They only took the department store cards, I guess, because you don't need ID.
Yeah, but you got to look good now. Sister, you got to look good. So we're going to take those department cards. You know what I mean?
Old Navy, Macy's, and JCPenney.
There you go. I'm surprised about the JCPenney one, though.
Yeah, and they went to Macy's and got 2 polos and some socks and a gift card.
That says right there as a guy, 2 polos. How many women actually do polos?
I don't know. I think for his accomplice, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's linked to it. I saw the feeling because I don't know. I just get this word right.
I feel Jonathan has something to say for that too. I'm going to bring him in. Jonathan, you better be on your guard here. Here we go. Bring me in, buddy. Hi, Jonathan. You got something to say about that one?
Brenda, you're really mean because actually I don't. I honestly was across the room doing something, and then I heard you say my name, and my spider senses went off, and I'm like, oh no, what's going on? You're gonna have to fill me in, honey. You really are.
Okay, I feel that you do. So go ahead and explain that to him, if you would, please.
Okay. Went on a date. Guy was in my site all night, but my credit cards were missing. One was used in Macy's. The other 2 went missing. I canceled everything. Wanted to know if he was linked with it and if he had an accomplice.
Oh, I bet he did. Did he keep your attention?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Then he did. He had to have had somebody around him, and how easier than to get your attention, bat his eyes, or whatever he was doing to you, get you engaged in a conversation, have his buddy slide all that out from under you. Just so.
Do you know if it's a woman or a man?
You know, you want to know my immediate feelings on this? It was probably a woman. And I don't know why but yep, my immediate thought is it's probably a woman.
Interesting.
I got a man.
I've seen him close with this young lady with blonde hair. She had like red locks, blonde hair.
And I'll tell you what, sweetheart, I heard Donny and Brenda talking a little bit ago. There's so many people out there that are not going with their intuition, and you need to on this.
Okay.
You need.
Okay.
Now
you see them getting caught as well, because obviously they're really good at this.
Well, here's my first question. You did take care of those cards correctly?
Yes. Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay.
I asked.
My immediate thought and fear is, oh my God, I really hope she took care of these because, boy, the damage that can be done. But you know what? I can tell you this. Let me really try to hone in on my thoughts here, my thought process, my intuition. But something's going to come down the pike with us or with this, and they're not going to walk away scot-free. So I hope you're pursue something with it, because I hate to use the classic term, but karma is going to get them good, darling.
Wow. Definitely.
Wow.
I get the feeling that they've done this before and that they're getting sloppy.
They got really sloppy. This is how I found out. I didn't even know. They were at the Macy's, and the receipt, when I tell you the store was approximately 5 minutes away from where I was at. Good thing I'm not like a crazy.
Right there
they sent the e-receipt to my Gmail account, and I seen it, and I'm like, hold up. I didn't purchase 2 polos. And
wait,
that's
polos
when
alone?
No, shirts. And I'm like, well, good thing I wasn't crazy.
A polo shirt?
Yeah.
So obviously she's trying to dial him up for some reason. So they're in cahoots together, honey. So keep an eye on this. Go through with this, because they're going to get their butt in a sling on this one. So keep on it. Keep on the good fight with this.
Keep on the good fight with trying to get the surveillance and.
Oh yes. And be
Okay.
really harsh about it. Don't let anybody poo-poo you or kind of shove you aside. You be really due diligence here.
follow through with it because I was out of town. And I'm like, I'm not letting this go.
Don't let these guys get away with this, because my gut feeling and my intuition and my spiritual side is telling me that these two, and I hate to say this and forgive me for it, but these two little slime balls have done this more than once. And like Donny said, they're getting sloppy with it now because they're getting so confident within themselves that they, we can get away with this. That's where their mistake's going to get made. So you keep in on this, and you be the one that puts their little butts in that sling and get the justice that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, that's how I am. I'm like, I'm for justice. Like, I'm not big because I'm like, he was just, I kept seeing this lady with blonde dress, and I'm like,
yeah. What is your name, by the way, sweetheart?
Trish.
Okay, you sound so familiar to me. I don't know why. I feel like I've talked to you before, but that's neither here nor there. Jonathan, I do a Wednesday night show with Deb Druce and Debbie Markham called Mystical Awakenings. And we do a spiritual medium show.
Yeah, I have spoken to you.
Okay, I see. I knew it. I knew it. I knew the voice. I had that hint where I feel like I know you. So, yeah, be the strong woman you are and take care of the situation. Take care of it, darling. Don't let these get one up on you.
I was just minding my business, and I guess I was targeted. But they messed with the wrong way.
Good. And keep that attitude. Keep that little fierce attitude, darling. Keep that going.
Yeah.
I love that. You get them.
Okay.
You get them, sweetheart. You're welcome.
Cool.
Nice way to rope me in there, Brenda. I was totally in the other side of the room filling out paperwork for a project I'm doing, and I kind of faded there for a minute, and that was the one thing I was gonna, if I came on the air, I was gonna talk to you guys about this project I'm doing, and then all of a sudden I heard my name, and I'm like, oh, what? And I came, I don't move quickly, and I stumble, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta get over there because I had it on speakerphone. I'm running. Well, my best interpretation of running.
That was good. The funny thing about it was I was guided like, no, Jonathan has something to say about this. And it's interesting that you recognized her voice from the other show, which is like, how cool is that? Talk about listening to your intuition.
I'm telling you, darling, the minute she started talking, I'm like, wait a minute, I know this voice and I know this woman somehow. I'm like, I really knew I knew her, and I'm like, how do I know? I'm just going to ask her, and that's why I spit it out the way I did. But, I'm not completely tactful or crass anyway, so then there's that.
You did it. Yeah, you did a great job. That's cool.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it when those things come together. Good.
I love hearing your guys' voices, and that's why I wanted to call in and listen. I just thought, you know what, it's Sunday. You guys know what I do, which is basically nothing now, and I'm like, I'm going to call in and listen. And how you guys doing?
No, good.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I've still got the afterglow from the other day, and I'm sure you do too, Donny. I saw your video on YouTube, and what an emotional couple days, huh?
It's been a roller coaster. Couple days.
And here's the thing. The only way I can describe it, and I hate to even relate it in any way towards this, but there was a song that was so emotional for me years ago when 9/11 happened, and it was "Where Were You?" Tim or I don't even know who did it, but where were you when the Earth stood still or whatever it was? That September day. You know what song I'm talking? And that's how I felt about the Supreme Court ruling, because I was asleep that morning and my phone just lit up. And I'm getting phone calls, I'm getting texts, and I'm getting Facebook notifications. Each one has a certain ring to it. And I'm like, geez, oh, Pete, it's like 8:30 in the morning. I was up till 4. What is going on, people? And I have a particular ring that Andrea Perrin from The Conjuring and the books, House of Darkness, House of Light. We're very close friends, and I kept hearing her ringtone, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I pick up the phone, and she's like, I love you. And that's all she said, and I'm like, okay, I love you too. I'm sleeping. And she starts laughing, and she's like, you have no clue what just happened in the world, do you? And I said, no. And she went on to explain, and I sat silent on the phone for about 5 minutes because I didn't know if I was going to scream, if I was going to erupt with laughter, or if I was just going to break down and cry like a baby. And it was just one of those moments where it was like I had to immediately then call Derek and wake him up, and I told him, and of course his first reaction is, let's go get married right now. And I'm like, whoa, calm down.
Yeah.
we're doing this, baby.
We have
I mean, everybody knows
it now. Yeah,
we're engaged. Now it's legal. Now we can do it the right way. Let's take a deep breath. But wow. So, yeah, that's part of my afterglow still is Friday. I can't shake it. Can't shake it. So,
I'm very happy for all of you guys because it's a long time coming. And my thing has always been is you cannot help who you fall in love with, okay? I don't care what it is or who it is. You cannot help it. And if God meant you to fall in love with that individual, God meant you to fall in love with that individual. And he meant you to be with that individual. Okay?
Yep.
Who the heck are we as individuals to keep people from being loved and loving another individual? That, to me, was totally wrong. And I am very, very happy, very elated that this was passed.
Oh, yeah. Because, honestly, how can my love for somebody else, Donnie's love for somebody else, your love, Brenda, for somebody else, affect, hurt, or alter somebody's life? I mean,
that's right.
Honestly, it's not going to, unless it's somebody else who's in love with us, but it's neither here nor there. Saying in a negative impact, that doesn't happen. And it's just such I mean, my mother, God love her, I'm not going to go into it, but she did write something on Facebook in response to one of my posts, and I didn't even know my mother was an avid Facebook watcher. She's probably had her account for 5-6 years, but she never comments on anything anybody does. And she wrote this eloquent, beautiful, long response to one of my posts about family and how family loves without conviction and how people should love without conviction and how she can't understand why it took this long to get there. And for me, my mom has never sat down and spoke that to me personally. And then to read it was just shattering in a good way because I was like, oh, my God, this is my mother. This is my mother. And her and my father have been away camping on a camping trip, and they got back today, and the first thing my mom did was run in the house, and Derek was here, and she grabbed us both and hugged us and sat down and had a really long talk with us about, I know you guys want to do this. Let's start to plan it. Let's start to do things. You've got my support, and you've got your father's support 100%. Let's do it. And it's just been a mind-blowing thing.
Well, the only thing that I can see now, and I talked to my friend Nathaniel about this, is now you guys have to, and I'm saying not all you guys, but some of you guys, you have to take responsibility now. It's no more playing around. This is serious stuff. And do the right thing.
Absolutely, Brenda.
Because
absolutely.
The right thing, the right thing isn't going out there and like, oh, we can do this, and just do it without any contention of love, applied to it. And there are so many of you that are out there that love for what love really means as being a partner and husband and wife and stuff like that. And somehow that needs to be tracked a little bit because responsibility is huge. And the community has gone for such a long time without not having to have that responsibility of those two positions in a relationship. So that's going to be the big challenge now.
I'm sure that, Donnie, you'll agree with me on this. I sat down and had a really long talk with Derek yesterday. And I told him, I said, now it goes a little bit deeper. It's been the fight for so long. Now it's almost a moral obligation that we have to put the proof behind the win that we are meant to be married. We can be a married couple, not only in God's eye, the universe's eye, whatever you believe in, but in society's eye, and make it a positive, worthwhile thing. And that's why I told them we need to really, instead of running out, because and God love them, I have a lot of friends that have been together 15, 20 years, so I can understand their urge to run right out and do it. I understand that. But it's the different generation now that we haven't been together quite as long as they have. It's our obligation now to prove that we can be the wonderful married couples that we can, and to show society, yes, we can function as a normal married couple. We can be the role models for our next generations of the LGBTQ generations coming up, and then really lay down the foundations for the positive gay marriage steps now. Because it's no longer a fight for them, and I don't even want to use the term gay marriage anymore. I just want to use the term marriage, but it's no longer the fight for us to have a marriage. It's now a fight for us to prove that we can be the loving, committed couples that nobody thought we ever could be. Right. And to lay that foundation for our youth and all the upcoming generations.
Yep.
I completely agree with you, and it's important for us to, like, I feel like for us that laying that foundation will be like putting gauze on a wound that has been, you know, damaged over the course of decades, because since we haven't had same-sex marriage, or marriage, I'm going to call it marriage equality, since we have not had marriage equality, like, I feel like a lot of people in the LGBTQ community have felt, this is going to sound weird when I say it, but they really haven't felt morally obligated to stay in relationships, because in so many gay relationships that I know, there is a huge amount of commitment problems. And I think this is going to fix that. This is going to prove to gay people that, you know, hey, now you have time. Now you can be with someone. Now you can go to the next level, and that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thing. I mean, I'll be really honest in saying this. Derek and I had plans on having a commitment ceremony in August. And we were doing this at one of the Paracons when all our friends were together and we could get some family up there, and we decided, you know, it's not legal, so we'll just have a commitment ceremony. Now, the whole dynamic have changed because we talked about it, and it's like, well, Derek, we can't just go have a commitment ceremony. I mean, we could, but people are going to go, why are you doing this when you can get married? What we discussed is we're going to totally change that, and what we're doing now is we're having an engagement party. We're going to gather everyone. Yes, we're going to gather everyone, and we're going to announce our engagement and say, listen, we have decided to commit to each other. We've decided to commit to our lives. Celebrate with us now. We will release the marriage date later on, because I am a very traditional Christian man. And that so many people call me an oxymoron all the time, but I am. And what I really want is a traditional marriage in a church. And I know there's probably a million people out there that if I sat in front of would be thumping their foreheads and going trying to start the argument, which I don't want. All I want to say is this: in God's eyes, I'm still loved, no matter what anybody says. And what I want to do for myself and my partner is have that traditional marriage. And I'll tell you, I posted something on my Facebook, and you guys can find it, and all I said was, about that traditional marriage. And this is something that dates back to the Greek era, where two saints that were men were married. And they had Jesus Christ listed as their best man. And at the time, they totally recognized it. The church did. If you guys want me to, I can take 2 seconds and pull it up and read it. I don't want to take the show. Okay, just give me a second. Literally, I know it's right on my Facebook because I was reading it earlier. And right here it is. So if you can give me just a second, I'll go up to the top. And here it is. And I'll read the whole article. It'll take 2 minutes. It says, Republicans and other opponents of gay marriage often speak of marriage as being a 2,000-year-old tradition, or even older. Quite apart from the fact that the definition of marriage has changed from when it was a business transaction, usually between men, there's an ample evidence that within just Christian tradition, it has changed from point to where same-sex relationships were not just tolerated, but celebrated. In the famous St. Catherine Monastery on Mount Sinai, there is an icon which shows two robed Christian saints getting married. Their pronobis, official witness, or best man is none other than Jesus Christ. The happy couple are 4th century Christian martyrs, Saint Sergei and Saint Bacchus, both men. Sergius of Antioch in the 6th century explained that we should not separate in speech Serge and Bacchus, who were joined in life. More bluntly, in the definitive 10th century Greek account of their lives, Saint Serge is described as both sweet companion and lover of Saint Bacchus. Legend says that Bacchus appeared to the dying Sergius as an angel, telling him to be brave because they would soon be reunited in heaven. Yale historian John Richard Boswell discovered this in early Christian history and wrote about it nearly 20 years ago in Same-Sex Unions in Pre-Modern Europe in 1994. In ancient church documents, he found the existence of an office of same-sex union, 10th and 11th century Greek, and the order for unity, or the order for unifying two men, 11th and 12th centuries Slavonic. He found many examples of the following: a community gathering in a church, a blessing of the couple before the altar, their right hands joined, as at heterosexual marriages, the participation of a priest, taking of the Eucharist, and a wedding banquet afterwards. A 14th century Serbian-Slovakian office of the same-sex union, uniting two men or two women, had the coupling having their right hands laid on the gospel while having a cross placed in their left hands. Having kissed the gospel, and the couple were then required to kiss each other, after which the priest, having raised up the Eucharist, would give them both communion. And that's I found that today, and I had to repost it because I was like, wow. And they have a lot of, if you look up the article, they do have the original textile or painting that's on the side of the place of worship there, and it's very obvious it's two men with the image of Jesus Christ behind them. And that it really floored me.
I just reposted it.
That's amazing.
Reposted it. You know, because that goes right back to what was said in the Bible, let no man separate what God has brought together, basically, and I'm paraphrasing. So, yeah, it just wasn't man and woman that can bring together. It was everyone.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, you cannot help who you fall in love with. I am here to tell you that. I don't care what anybody says. You'll not change my mind. If you fall in love with someone and it's real, you fell in love with someone because it was meant to be.
Yep.
Plain, simple, no argument.
And Brenda, you're my witness. I mean, I stood there at the event in Houghton Lake, and I explained to you everything that happened, the event that led up to it, the visitation I had from my lover that was killed, and I told you right then and there, I am already in love with this man. He's a gift in my life, and this was meant to be, and it will be.
Yep. I got goosebumps, man. Big time goosebumps. I remember that. I was like, no, this was brought into your life. Derek was brought into your life for a reason, man, and this is it. It came from your the love that you lost. So, yeah, cool beans.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but it's...
No, we were going to go there anyway, sooner or later.
Okay, well, good. That's one of the journeys that's and you guys talk about journeys all the time, but that's one of the journeys that's going on in my life. It's just been fantastic, and I'll tell you, and it's such a weird phrase to use, but not for nothing. The sickness and the kind of setbacks I had in my life woke up a lot as far as my intuition, my mediumship, my relationships, my spiritual journey. It has just been amazing. And I've been on this nonstop kind of preaching bin to people that, my God, wake up to the things around you, wake up to your life and celebrate it. Mm-hmm. And here's one of my favorite quotes ever from one of the I don't know, it's just a silly movie, but Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, your life is an occasion, rise up to it. And that's been so ingrained in my head. And I happened to catch that movie when I was in the hospital. And when it came to that pivotal point in the movie, when he said that, I erupted into tears, and I'm like, oh, wow. If ever I got thumped in the forehead by the universe, here I am sitting in a hospital bed getting a blood transfusion, and it's going, your life's an occasion, rise up to it.
Yep.
That was meant to happen. That information was meant to come to you.
And I'm telling you, ever since, and the deep breath I've taken, and I've woke up every morning, and yes, some mornings are rough, some evenings are rough, but I sit back every day and I reflect and I go, thank you. Thank you for letting me part of this world for another day.
Yeah. Your journey is not finished yet. Not for a while.
Mm-mm. No, but it keeps growing. I got to tell you, it really does.
Yes, it does.
That's, if you can give me a couple more minutes, I'll tell you the paperwork I was working on.
Of course.
Here's another coincidence or another thing that got thrown into my lap this past Wednesday. I've lived in this town for 7 years, and the entire 7 years I've been in this town, I have tried to get to our historical museum. And it's only open 2 days a week for a few months out of the year. It's only open on Wednesdays and Sundays from 1 to 4. My work schedule never allowed me to go there. And now, being temporarily disabled, I was able to go. And I went, and it was so funny. It was not what we planned. I was supposed to go to the movies with one of my best friends. We were heading downtown, and long story short, we realized the historical museum was open. We pulled in the parking lot. We walked up the handicap ramp, and as we were coming around to the front of the building, the older lady who runs it, her name is Gloria, was just opening and putting the open flag out front. And I giggled, and I said, you were waiting for me. And she said, darling, I have been. Make your way in. I'll be right in. And she came in, gave the loose tour. I mean, it was, she's 77 years old, God bless her heart, and takes us through this Victorian mansion filled with these beautiful artifacts from our county here, Sandusky County in Ohio. And as I'm going through this museum, I'm giving her tips and pointers on how to revamp some of the displays and things like that. And we get done with the whole tour. We're back down in the main area, and she says, can I interest you in a glass of iced tea and maybe some cookies? And I was like, sure, let's sit down and talk. And she comes out, and then she excuses herself for a moment again and comes back in, and she goes, I got to ask you something. And I said, what's that? She goes, do you do museum work? And I started laughing, and I said, no, I don't. But anybody that knows me knows I have an insane collection of antiquities, and I love to display them and share them with the world. But so I was just taking my inherent thing here and telling her how to do this stuff. And she said, we really need people like you. She said, can I ask how old you are? And I told her, and she laughed and said, no, I would have guessed you younger. God bless her. But she said, would you be interested in volunteering here? And I said, absolutely, I would. I'm going on form of disability right now. I can't work the way that I'm used to. So now I found something to pour my energy in.
Good.
That is excellent.
Great. Well, here's the best. Go ahead, honey. I'm sorry.
I'm like, you're going to have a lot of fun with that. So go ahead.
Here's the best part. They're only open from 1 to 4. Now we're going on 6:15 at night, and we're still in the building talking. And you two will appreciate this. The spirit, the complete spirit activity and noises we're hearing are nonstop in the building. And I'm giggling about that alone. Now this gentleman enters the building, and Gloria says, oh, I'm so glad you made it, Larry. And she said, Larry, come here, I want you to meet this guy. And he walks up, and he's an older gentleman, and he sticks his hand out and introduces himself, and he says, I'm the president of the Historical Society and the curator and director here at the museum. Long story very short. At the end of that meeting, he did everything but offer me the keys to the building. He has wanted to retire for 5 years. I am now meeting with the board of directors on Wednesday, and Larry is going to fully endorse and personally try to train me to take over the museum take his position, which is a paid position. It's a very slightly paid position, but it's paid, and run the museum. Because everybody on the board of directors who runs this museum, Gloria is the youngest one at 77 years old.
Yep.
And you want to talk about a gift? Yes, a gift being thrown into my lap. It was literally just thrown in my lap. And I went back today. I took Derek back with me today because I wanted him to see the house. And the minute I walked in, there were two gentlemen that I hadn't met yet that were there running the museum today. And the minute I walked in, they said, "You must be John." And I started laughing. And I said, "That's me." And they said, "Well, the only reason we know who you are is we could tell by your paint by number." And they're talking about my tattoos. And the reason I got the minute they said it was Gloria laughed because, I'm very tattooed. But Gloria laughed and called me a paint by number on Wednesday. So I knew I made the connection immediately. And the gentleman, we didn't even go through the museum. It was me and these two gentlemen sitting down and talking about what can you bring to the museum, what can you offer. We're excited. We want to work with you. We're going to be with you on Wednesday because now you've met 4 out of the 5 board members. And I got to tell you, small gifts from the universe, when you recognize them, are so wonderful.
Well, and that goes back to what we were talking. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, honey. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going
to say,
that brings me back to what Donnie and I were talking about, people that need to follow their intuition. Because if you guys wouldn't have followed your intuition to get to the museum, you would not be presented with this beautiful opportunity in life. Okay.
And here's the funny part. We were going downtown to see Jurassic World. And something said, "Nope, let's stop here."
Mm-hmm. You got to follow those intuitions.
By a simple stop. Yep, by a simple stop of our plans. I met a beautiful woman who shared with me the history of the building, showed me the archives, showed me the attic, showed me the basement. She was immediately taking me to places that nobody's supposed to be. And we just talked and conversed, and it was so natural. I mean, I was hugging this woman on my way out several times. And, Brenda, you know me. I'm a hugger anyway. But we just immediately had that connection. Larry and I had shook hands when we first met, and when I went to leave, Larry embraced me as well, and we had a big hug. And I'm like, if I felt not only a connection with the people, but with the building and the spirits itself. And that's why it's like, this is it. It's like a homecoming. It's so hard to describe. It's a weird homecoming.
Because that is where you're supposed to be. Anytime that you feel that sense, that is where you're supposed to be. You started out there, basically, and I'm going to say this just to keep it going. It's almost like you started out there, and this is where you're going to be. This is it. And that's why this homecoming is like, I'm here, I finally made it type of deal. And I'm telling you, when you had those pictures up there on Facebook, and I saw them, they're there. I feel them. That energy is good. Not that I would necessarily want to go there, but yes, that's like, wow. There you go, Jonathan. They're there. All those entities love you.
I'll tell you what, my darling. I told you when you commented, and I said it definitely has some spirit activity, and I could feel it. The oddest moment was when it was me and my friend Heather and Gloria sitting at the tables in the main room, and we all three kind of looked up and looked over in the foyer, and we saw a gentleman standing there, and Gloria said, "Can I help you?" And just as soon as she said that, he just kind of was gone. And she said, "Please tell me I'm not the only one that saw that." And I started to giggle, and I said, "I saw it too."
No.
And that led us into a whole new conversation because she said, "Well, I've been told this place is haunted." And I started laughing, and Heather kind of smacked my knee under the table and goes, "You really should tell her what you do." And I thought, oh, God, this is going to set the crazy level way up high. And I said, "You know what, Gloria, let me tell you what I do. For the last 22 years," and I started talking, and she never stopped me, second-guessing me. She said, "That's fantastic. You have a lot to offer. I see Halloween events never had." And it just went into this whole conversation of having readings and different things at the venue. And so we'll see. The journey's begun. That's all I can say.
That's so cool. So
that's
with
amazing.
that said, we're going to take. Go ahead.
I just said that's amazing.
That is amazing. With that said, we're going to go on break for a couple minutes because we're down at the bottom of the hour, and when we come back, we'll take a caller that we have.
Go ahead.
All right.
Have fun, guys.
Welcome back to Universal Journeys with your host, Dr. Brenda L and Donny Winter. Our call-in number is 347-850-8292. Welcome back, guys.
Hey.
Hey. So, let's go ahead and take our caller.
All right.
Yeah. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Are you doing readings?
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Yeah.
What you got for us?
Yeah. You know what? I don't know which show I called. I called it and then I lost it. What is the name of this show?
It's called Universal Journeys Radio.
Okay. Yeah, what I was calling about is I was hoping to find out if you see me relocating or what you see around that.
I see relocating. Yeah, I see relocating, but for some reason it looks like the garage door is closing, though.
Mhm. Yeah, I got the feeling of something closing too, something ending for me.
And it's funny that the garage door is closing. Normally you'll see a regular door, but this is like a garage door that comes from the top and it's like, and it closes, and it's almost closed. Did you have an opportunity to move before and you didn't take it?
No, I have not had an opportunity to move.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
All right.
I moved into this house about 4.5 years ago.
Okay. Huh.
I'm not sensing any distinctive move that you're going to be doing anytime soon. I mean, if you do move, it's not going to be very far away. But I really feel like that you're in the place that you should be at the moment.
Okay.
I guess the question would be why do you want to move? Is there a purpose? Is there a reason? Or you just want to move out of the house? Because if there's something moving around in the house that you're not like, you can always get it cleansed. It can be cleansed and to make it more comfortable with you. What the heck was that?
It's nothing like that. I'm not uncomfortable here.
Okay.
I just, want to know, I'm expecting some changes, and I want to know when you guys see coming through for me.
So, I can't get past the garage door closing. I'm sorry.
Change-wise, there may be other changes in your life, but when it comes to where you are, your location, I don't see any changes. I don't sense any changes.
Okay, well, what do you see coming up for me?
I see a couple new friends coming into your life, actually. And they are going to they're not going to necessarily change who you are, but they're going to open your eyes to different possibilities. At that point, you may consider moving, but it really depends on how much you make certain personal changes in your life, okay? But I do see these friends. I'm getting the number 2. I think it's going to be a couple people. You're going to find these friends who help adjust your way of thinking, I guess. You're going to think in a different way.
Okay.
Why do you want to move? And now you say that you're expecting changes to occur But what are you doing to make those changes to occur?
It's a little bit complicated. It actually doesn't have to do with me. It has to do with family. So there's some changes going on. And one of my things,
Okay, well that makes more sense. I mean, because it's like, okay, they're not letting me get past this doggone garage door. I'm thinking, what the heck? And when you do, I'm seeing you moving, okay? You just gave me a little piece of the puzzle. I do see you moving. When you move, though, is it very possible, it does feel like it is, that those individuals who you're moving away from, be it family, friends, or whatever, are going to close the door on you?
Okay.
Or are you going to close the door on them? Say, okay, that's done. I'm going here. I'm moving. That's it. And I do feel, and I just stood up, but when I was sitting down, it felt like happy feet. Like you have happy feet. Once this change occurs, that there's going to be happy feet there. You're going to feel a lot better about yourself, and things will start to clear up, and your energy will get lighter, and you'll have more drive to go forward instead of being stifled.
Right, exactly.
Because it feels like you are being stifled. And the thing is you will need to make that initiative, take that initiative. Don't let them push you out. You got to take that initiative to get out.
No, nobody's pushing me out.
Good.
I could stay here till I die if I wanted to.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just saying, in theory, I could stay here till I die.
Right. And that very well could be, but the thing is you have such a vibrancy about you that you could walk forward. You could just walk out there and say, okay, here I am. But what's happening, too, that I'm finding, or that I'm sensing, is your confidence level is not there that you could make it.
Right.
And you could make it.
So when
could make it.
When is this move coming for me? Do you see when?
Just as soon as you decide that you want to move, that's the big thing. I mean, it could be anywhere from 2 months to 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have those.
Yeah,
you have that time frame in between. Yeah, it really is on you. I say it's going to be sooner than later, though.
Wait a minute. Sooner than later. I mean, it really isn't depending on me, to let you know. It's not 100% depending on me. There's some circumstances around this move that I'm waiting.
I'm sticking with what I said. It depends on you.
Okay.
Because everyone has their own choices. They could either stay or go. No matter what the situation is, you could stay or go. I'm sorry, you have your own decisions. I mean, this is yours. I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely.
Because we can make our own decisions and stuff like that, and it's really up to us. We feel, and there may be certain circumstances that will delay things, and we'll feel like it's because of them, but it really is because of us. It's your decision, and you can make that decision. And I see you staying for a little while longer. I do, because you still don't believe that you have that opportunity. And that's okay, too, because there's something else you have to learn, a little more that you learn with that situation. But for the most part, it really is up to you to stay or go.
Okay.
I mean, I've been in situations where I thought it was, that I couldn't go or I couldn't do this or couldn't do that. And it's like, once I started to change the way I thought about it, then everything started to open up to where I could be, and it was me. It was my energy. Because when you put the energy out there, and it's your thought pattern, that's why I say it's you, it's your responsibility, it's you that you could do this, is when we send our energy out there saying that we have to wait on this person, we have to wait on that, then it's going to make us wait. But when we say, okay, I'm taking my responsibility for my own actions, for what I do, and then all of a sudden everything seems to hurry up and fall into place for you, so you can leave a lot earlier than what you thought you were able to. Things
exactly
fall into place for you to do that. And there may be, for you, there may be a mutual energy going on there too. It's like, okay, you know, the energy is mutual here. It's like a codependency type of deal, and it's that equal energy. Is like, okay, we're going to be codependent a little bit longer. We haven't each gotten, or the group hasn't gotten, you know, what they needed out of one another, and then boom, one day it's like, whoop, gone. It's like, whoa, what fell out of there? Okay, I'm out of here now. But don't be afraid to take that next step, though. Don't be afraid to push a little bit too.
Okay.
You can do it. I mean, you can do it. You can do it. And if it takes a little bit longer, that's okay too. So, and again, it's up to your mindset, or what your mindset is, and when you're going to take that next step forward. But I do feel once you do decide and understand and realize you can, then you're going to be free. It's like, woohoo! Why did it take me so long? And you're going to be gone.
Yeah, it all comes down to the fact that, I mean, we get anchored to people in our lives all the time, and sometimes we become accustomed to being anchored to that person or a group of individuals to the point where we depend on it so much that if we feel that if we are without it, that we're completely lost. So I think a lot of it also has to do with you making the choice of being like, okay, I need to take my anchor to different waters and then place it there, you know. And I think you will get to that point. I definitely think you will.
I do too. But if you can enjoy the ride while you can, definitely enjoy it. Just, you know, do what you got to do with that situation. But it's going to turn out better for you. And I would say at least within the next couple months to be the soonest that you'll be able to take that next step forward, and that garage door will open up again so you can leave.
Okay,
because it does feel like there's you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Bye.
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 Okay. So, Kubi. That was a little bit tougher one. Mm-hmm.
So what were you saying, hon?
I was saying that was a little bit tougher one there.
Yeah, it was. And you totally did well on that one, by the way. Good job.
Well, it always, a good job only depends on what the outcome is. So, but thank you.
She brings up a very interesting point, because a lot of the time, and I think we were talking about this not too long ago too, we get and I was just using the image of an anchor, because an anchor is like, holding you in place, And whenever we get used to a group of people, we anchor ourselves with those people, but we don't let ourselves venture off to other parts of the lake, And it's important for us to do so, because that's how we gain more experience. That's how we learn more about ourselves. And a lot of the time, if we stay in one place like that, we become stagnant.
Well, and a lot of things too is some people, they're told that the change are going to occur, and so they wait for it. Instead of making it happen, they wait for it, and then all of a sudden it never occurs because well, that person said this, and it didn't happen because they did not take the initiative to make it happen. They think that, okay, I'm in a situation, I can't get out of the situation. There is always a choice. Always a choice. May not be the choice that you want to make to get out of it, but it is a choice. And you find out later on that if you make the choice, it was the best thing to happen. So we're taking away all of that type of situation, that type of thing that God said, okay, here we are. Open the door and it shall be opened, to you. You're asking, it shall be opened to you, whatever, given to you. And a lot of times it's like, okay, People don't want to realize that they have the responsibility and they need to take it upon themselves to do their own stuff. Instead, they give their power away to everybody else, and that's not a good thing either. It's like, I don't suggest that at all.
I think, again, it comes back down to intuition. Because with intuition, with developing their own intuition, they would realize that I have to make these choices. I have to view the situation from a macroscopic level and then examine it in context with themselves. Like it all comes down to perceiving those types of things. And I notice that whenever we do readings, we frequently get people who ask us, like, oh, when is this going to happen? When is this going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time, it's dependent on when they choose it to happen. So, for those of you guys listening to this, time really is not a variable. Time is just something that we concoct to keep our lives organized. When it comes to intuition, it's dependent on what you do, when you do it, when you think it. Not, and then approximately, such and such months or days. It's all dependent on you. And I've realized in my own life that once I veered away from depending so much on plotting things out on a timeline, honestly, I feel like things are more organized when I'm not thinking in that temporal way, that linear way,
Right. And again, you cannot wait for things to happen because 9 to the 10, they may not happen. You have to do something to create that energy. That when you're given that information, you got changes are coming. Okay, well, guess what? Don't wait for it. You create it. And that only occurs at that particular moment. When someone like Donny and I give information to people, that's what we see at that particular moment. It is up to the individual to make it happen or to just wait for something and it doesn't happen because they were not active. They're not an active participant within that. And you have to be. And if you continue to think, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and not do anything, not mentally, not physically, not anything, it's not going to occur. These are just opportunities that are seen at that particular time that you could take. They're avenues.
And you're going to lose opportunities doing that, too.
Right. You are. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, we all had to learn it. We all had to learn it. And, no one really is exempt from that. We all have to learn that. And then we have to take responsibility for our own actions. And that's what I was trying to get out earlier, that we have to take responsibility for our own actions.
Exactly. And I also think it's important for people to realize, too, that, even though we may say something that you may believe isn't true in your life, think a little bit deeper, because a lot of the time it will apply to your life in some way. Because I've had readings before where I've been like, oh, that's not true and whatever, and I've left the reading and I was like, actually now that I think about it, it honestly is. And then I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I said that. And it's all about keeping an open mind also. If you don't have an open mind, if you don't have an open mind, then you're not open to those changes, and you'll again remain anchored in one spot permanently. And like I said earlier, it's all about intuition. And while we were talking earlier, I did a little research. And Brenda, do you love Huffington Post? I know I love Huffington Post. It is awesome. Yes. Well, they recently posted an article about 5 tips to cultivate your intuition. So if you're listening to this and you were like, how the hell do I cultivate my intuition? Well, I'm going to read this to you, and maybe this will help a little bit, okay? So these are their top 5 tips on strengthening intuition. Number 1, spend some time daily connecting to yourself and your breath. So they're calling it sourcing. It's a meditation, a quiet reflection. We've talked about this before, meditation. It basically gives you a moment every day to just relax, listen, reflect on your thoughts, on your sensations, and help clear your mind. It gives you a sense of clarity throughout your entire day. And I think we all could use that. I have days where I'm like running around like a chicken with my head chopped off. I nearly slaughtered that, no pun intended.
Yeah, you did.
And I'm just like, I really need to go sit down and breathe. I just need to breathe. And when I do that, I'm like, oh, I'm so much better now. Okay, so step 1, connect with yourself and your breath and meditate. Find your self-clarity. Number 2, listen. Actively allow yourself to receive your intuitive voice and give it space to be heard. Actively tell yourself that you will value its voice and that it is a welcome insight. So instead of telling your intuitive voice to be like, oh, be quiet, I'm not listening to you, you're wrong, listen to it and take it into consideration. Reflect on it, okay? That's an important part of building your intuition is acknowledging that you have it and acknowledging that, it is correct. Number 3 is talk to yourself. Ask yourself questions. Sometimes writing down the question helps. That's number 3. So basically engaging in a conversation. Remember, like I was talking about earlier, when I'm going through something, I ask myself these questions, and basically I have a conversation with that, build-up of experience that I've had, that intuition. I am able to analyze the situation that way through talking to myself. And number 4 on here is one of my favorite things ever, writing. Intuitive impressions are often subtle and can evaporate quickly. Our trust in them isn't strong to start with, and so the fleeting message is lost and gone. Actually writing it down gives you something to come back to and also activates the reticular activating system at the base of your brain, which sets itself the task of finding evidence to support your thoughts. So writing these intuitive impressions down allows you to go back to it and reflect on it and compare it to other impressions that you've had, so on and so forth. Number 5 is trust yourself. And they pose the question, how do we trust? We just do it and then gradually increase the levels bit by bit when all is well. So make the decision to trust your intuition, because that's what's going to keep you open to growing, and that's what's going to help. It's basically your compass. It is your compass on making decisions. So I thought that was a very interesting thing to share, a little tidbit on how to improve your intuition if you're absolutely baffled as to how you can do that.
The other thing, too, is you can't be so stubborn. You can't be so stuck on, I want information, but I don't want information type of thing, or I don't want to listen when someone's telling you what's up and stuff like that. And that, for me, is very, very condescending for people like us who are trying to help you, trying to give you ideas, trying to give you some information, and you're like, no, and they off they go somewhere else, and yet they don't want to work on their own stuff. And really, you have to work on your own stuff. That's what it's all about. That's why you're here.
People need to realize that when we're doing readings like that, we are dedicating the energy in our own intuition to help tap into the happenings of their own lives. And it's a challenge. It's difficult to do. It takes a lot of practice. I'm even getting used to doing it because I'm not used to doing it myself. So it's a lot easier if you come into it with an open mind, because it allows us to connect with your intuition that you may have not even acknowledged, A bridge between intuition.
Right. And the other thing, too, is some people are like so focused on a bad outcome or stuff that's what happens to them. You really have to change your thoughts. You have responsibility. If you're not going to change, no one else is going to change. Okay, so you got to change yourself before anything else in your life changes. You got to change the way you think. That can be, there's a couple things that's daunting. Number one, people don't want to believe that they have responsibility for their own actions and what happens to them. They want to believe that something out there is making this happen to them, when actually it's something inside of them, deep inside of them, saying, okay, this is a lesson you have to learn. Just as soon as you recognize this lesson and you take responsibility for it, then you're gone, you're leaving. You're getting out of that situation. This is like my dragon that I saw in the clouds the other day. Was like, aha, there we go. Now I understand what's going on. And you can get signals and signs from anything and everything if you're open to it. I mean, what I saw yesterday in the sky, I saw many things, but this particular one was a dragon. Literally a dragon with its head like it's going to turn back on its body, it's like it's going to go to sleep or something, but the head was still up. That means that I slayed the dragon that I needed to get past, to get through. That, okay, now things are going to start to change for the better. But those are things that I have to work on. We all are here to work on our stuff. And if we give it up to somebody else out there that we don't even ever see, and say, okay, well, God did this and God did that. Like, hey, some of that stuff you did yourself. That karma's coming back to get you in the butt, okay? Or use the lesson you got to learn. That's your stuff. Fix it. Figure it out. Change. Get it done.
Right. And the thing is, if you don't trust yourself, at least trust us, because we are here doing this for a reason. We're here to help. We're here to provide our insights.
Well, at least, don't necessarily have to trust us, because then you trust in everybody, and that's not too good.
Right.
But at least
some form of trust.
Yes. Investigate it. Say, okay, let's really, experiment with this and see if this is really true. All it takes is just you changing your thought pattern just a little bit. That's it. Simple. That's simple. Change your thought pattern about what you're doing and what situation you're in just a little bit. Just stretch that imagination just a little bit. And believe it or not, I bet you 10 times out of nothing, it's going to be good.
Amen to that.
And with that said, I'm getting off my soapbox here, coming to the end of the show, and I hope we weren't too harsh on all of you, because really we do love you, and we just want to help you out, and sometimes we get frustrated. So, with that said, I'm going to plug some shows here. On Monday evenings from 7 to 9, we have Beyond Smoke and Mirrors, and that's a cool show, too. All of them are, really. And then on Tuesday nights from 7 to 9, we have Spiritual Journeys. These guys are an up-and-coming program that sounds really cool and exciting to be a part of. And then on Wednesday nights from 7 to 9, we have Mystical Awakenings. And you talk about some crazy people, they are crazy. They're lovable, Deb and Deb, and they're out there. They're helping you out just like we try to help you out here. So if you get a chance, go there. Jonathan also is a part of that every once in a while. And the one that he really shines with Deb the Roosh is True Paranormal on Friday nights from 7 to 9. Have a great night.